This is Thank You for Your Time, a space where I get to share the people that I care about in my life and have good conversations. If you find this entertaining or helpful in any way, please consider to subscribe. It'll help me out a lot. I'm your host, Grant Easy Yang, and this week we'll be talking to my good friend Brandon K. But first, let's have some tea.
Dozo Arokuni. Mm-hmm. 3 to 6. Yep. 1 cent. 衣服加減いかがでございますか？
頂戴します。Sup, Brandon?
What up?
We've been talking all day, or not all day, but most of the day. But first off, cliche, but thank you, truly thank you for your time, and thank you for the matcha tea ceremony. Thank you for like we were talking earlier. Like I learned so much about like matcha and how appreciation of the bowl and these cultural things, you know. But before we get into like anything, and this is like an excuse just for me to interrogate you, just to like talk to you, right? For those who don't know, this is Brandon K. And you've probably seen him mentioned in some of my other videos if you follow my other stuff. But Brandon is a really sweet guy. He's really cool. He's just one of those guys that you need to meet and then talk to and then like pick his brain, and then through those conversations or actions you go like, wow, this is what connection is. And that's my boy.
Bro.
That's you.
Oh my gosh, thank you, bro.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I just want to start off with like my brain fog. But I just want to start off with you introducing yourself to people, me, whatever, however way you want to introduce it, whether it's like your career, whether it's your job, your hobbies, what you think you identify as, whether it's like culture, ethnicity, anything. It could be like, oh, I like turtles and blah blah blah, right? That could be so.
I mean, I do like turtles, but I like toucans more. But I would say intro. First of all, I know I'm very thankful to have known you for the last like year or so and a half since I moved to the city. So I moved to New York in September of 2023, and I am from Seattle. I went to school in LA. My full-time job is like a UX designer, and yeah, I would say I have like a wide range of different types of hobbies. I think I'm a very curious person, or as I've gotten older, I've become more curious. And so as you were able to see and experience, and we relate about it together, as Japanese tea ceremony has been one of the hobbies that I've picked up since moving to the city. I've been learning Japanese, which also relates to my ethnicity. My mom is Japanese, my dad is Chinese. I'm like fourth generation, so like great ancestors came in like the 1800s. Yeah. So, which is, I don't know, it's a whole topic of its own that I'd love to dive into, whether it's a part of this or not. But I am like almost as like modern of like an Asian immigrant as you can get, because there's not really another generation that it can go back. Yeah. And at least for me, it's like kind of like trying to rediscover some of like my own culture, which is why I've kind of gone to like the roots of like, at least in my Japanese side, like the tea ceremony that goes back to like the 700s and like Buddhist monks, that kind of thing. Yeah, so that's one part of it. I also like to do different types of photography. Yeah, there's probably off camera, but yeah, I've got some different photos that I like to take. But yeah, I mean, I really just love connecting with different people in the city. I'm really grateful to have an amazing community here in the city. Really thankful for you, bro. I think one thing that we have really related over is the tea ceremony. Like this bowl that we used for the uzucha part of the ceremony. We did 2 different types of matcha. But this bowl you very graciously gifted me, and it is one of my favorite bowls. And what people may not know is that this bottom portion with the green is my favorite part. Yeah. The bottom part is my favorite. I love the way it feels in my hands, and yeah, I wanted to ask you. Yeah. I guess specifically with this bowl. What was your creative process behind, like, there's like green in the middle, swirl, and green on the back, and the texture of it is very textural, which is what I love about it. Yeah. What I love about chawans, matcha bowls, and like part of what I'm taught in tea ceremony class is the way something feels, and the way it holds. And your bowl specifically, it makes me feel like I can, like, there's the texture to it, makes it feel very earthly. Oh, thank you. So yeah, what about this bowl? Like, why? How did it come about?
This bowl specifically, I'm gonna be 100% honest. It was not. I usually, when I'm making stuff, I have a person in mind, especially the person I'm gonna give it to, right? But this one, I didn't have anyone in mind. It was more like, I'm gonna make chawans for the first time, so let me experiment with what I could do with a chawan based on my limited information at the time. Like, I researched, but I think now I've definitely known more, like today too, like new revelations, because we were talking and you were telling me and you're showing me all these like small things of like how you hold it, like you have to like move it, the front should be the most beautiful part, and all these things that I didn't like know until tonight. So, but at the time when I was making, I was like, okay, so a chawan is a bowl that you make tea in, and I was like, okay, so it should be decent size. And then I looked up different like versions. I've watched a few videos, and then the first shape was just like, okay, this is like a classic shape. It's just like simple, and I made it this way because it's simple. And then I added this lip indent, right? And then I pulled this out because I just thought you need to make it comfortable for the drinker, right? Like, no matter where you're gonna drink it from, whether it's the front or the back, which I think this is the back and this is the front, right? No matter where, I want it to be comfortable. that's the shape. And then I am so bad at making my shapes organic, as in the sense of like,
Bro, you're just saying that.
no, as in the sense of like, I always have this feeling of I need to make it as perfect as possible, as clean as possible. But like the bowl that you used earlier for the other matcha is like super organic.
Very imperfect.
Very imperfect, but there's like, that's why it's so beautiful. So this time I was like playing around with that. So there's like this spiral groove. When it was still wet, I just spun it and went and it made this
see.
like swoop around it. And I actually recently have been like trying to define this not technique, I guess, but the texture comes from me grabbing one of my trimming tools. And I don't know if I'm allowed to. Imagine this is my trimming tool, because the trimming tool is an L, the one that I use. And this end is like super sharp. And as the bowl spins, I'm literally just like tapping it.
Oh, interesting.
And I thought, how can I make this like organized but chaotic at the same time? Is I'll keep the rhythm of my hand the same, but I'll keep the speed of which the bowl irregular. So sometimes I'll spin it as fast as possible, and then other times I'll slow it down. And then some other versions, I just put the needle down and I go like this, which causes a pattern, but it also makes it more whimsical. I don't know. Whimsical.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah.
So
I had no idea that that's how you did it.
and then like I'm trying to come up with a name for it, and so far I think of like
The technique.
the texture.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think it looks very like wind-like, but it also looks like script. Like
Yes,
words.
bro. I mean both. Script I resonate with.
So
Because even like the color of this bowl, it's
Yeah.
it's like
paper.
kind of gives like manuscript.
Yeah.
This is like braille. It's almost braille.
Yeah. So I've been like playing around with the idea of like Gale script or like wind. I don't know, something along the lines of like wind and words, because that's the feeling that I get from it. And then the spirals. I think the thing that you like at the bottom.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the bottom swirl.
I've seen a lot of people do this with their stuff where they just like make a beautiful curve.
So do you do that? Is that one swift motion?
Yeah, it's just like put the brush down and go, and then I go, okay, well I can't change it once I do it, right? And then glaze is also in like, you don't know what's gonna happen when the glaze occurs, right? So some parts are thicker, some parts are thinner, so it comes out the way that it does. And then the inside is, since I have that on the bottom, I was like, what can I do for the inside? And you know Gina. Gina has inspired me a lot in my ceramics. And when I was thinking about this, I was like, what works well with the swoosh or the semicircle? And I think it would be a spiral, because I don't think she uses spirals directly, but I know that she enjoys them. So I was like, okay, let me try drawing a spiral. And then I first started with like a small one.
In this part of the bowl.
Yeah, on the inside. I started off with the middle part, and then I was like, let me just keep going. And I was like, I don't even know where this is gonna go. And
So
then
you kept it, dude.
I just kept on going, and
That's
then
so sick.
I went to the end, and then I was like, well, we'll see how it looks when it comes out.
And how do you think it turned out?
I think there are like some parts that could be a little bit more free, and there are some parts that need more glaze. But like, honestly, I think once it's done and as long as it could function for my pieces, I let it go. And like, you like it, so that already is like, okay, perfect. I don't need to or play around with it more. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I really like how you like have such a technical like aptitude or like skill with like the way that you create your ceramics, but like how you just described, like, there's an extent to your art, and I guess to probably ceramics in general, where you have to relinquish like control. Whereas like when you're maybe like drawing something, you can exactly see pen touching paper right in the moment, but like in your swirls that you're describing, like there's a part of it that you just have to relinquish to the kiln.
Yeah.
And then the way it turns out is the way it turns out, and in your perception, like as long as the build quality holds, like the way that it turns out is like something that you let go, and you let the person who is receiving your art like interpret that the way they want to, which I think is really cool. I think there's kind of like two ways that I like just now, like two takeaways from it. One is like Christian adjacent, which is like, you know, we as people have like tangible skills, tangible qualities, tangible traits, but we're living in a chaotic world with so many variables that we don't have control over.
Yeah.
And so we can optimize for like, I want this job, or I have this goal that I want to accomplish. And I've set everything up to be able to succeed those goals. But there might be some force or something that just you cannot control. And I think being able to accept that is a hard but necessary thing in this world. And yeah, I just think it's really cool that I see that parallel in life and also in the way that you describe the art. The second takeaway, I think, is that I would say I had it and I lost it.
That's cool.
It was about the way that you relinquish. I saw it in the way of Christianity, and I also saw it in the tea ceremony. The tea ceremony. Like the way that I just made it, like I know the ritual of how to make the tea for you, and like as you saw in the video, like people who actually are in my school or know how tea ceremony works will notice that like I like made some mistakes here and there, and like it is pretty traditional, but like because we're not in a tea studio, like I had to change a couple things around.
Yeah.
But like it's the same idea, right? Like I know how like I know how it's supposed to work, but like, you know, we're just gonna roll with the punches, and then you know, the way it turns out is the way it turns out. And I'm grateful that you thought the tea ceremony was beautiful. So, you know, even if it's not perfect, that's okay.
Yeah, I agree. Like it was really cool to me, cause like I've done it once or twice with you before, right?
Yeah.
But this is the first time you're using my bowl.
Yes, which was so fun for me. It was so fun. It's such a full circle. It's such a full circle.
Yeah, it is like, but it's also like, it's cool because, like I expressed this earlier, but usually the way that I handle my ceramics is like, oh, it's just my stuff. If it breaks, it breaks. I could treat it whatever.
Which is crazy to me. To me, it's crazy. Like, bro, your stuff is off the grid.
Thank you. But it's like, but because you're doing the ceremony, right? And because we're in this context of that I'm now no longer familiar with, and you're familiar.
Yeah, like now you're in, like I've taken what you've given me.
Yeah.
And I pulled you into something that you're not familiar with.
Yeah, like I'm in your realm now. Like before, when you're in my studio or when you look at my ceramics, or most people, I feel like what I've observed is like, they're like, oh, it's gonna break, I don't know. And they treat it so precious. And I'm like, dude, I make
because they have a lot of respect for it, bro.
Yeah, which I really appreciate. But it's also like, dude, I make this all the time. Treat it like whatever. Be relaxed. And I think that's I want everyone to feel relaxed, right? But because now you're bringing my creation into your world, it's almost as if it's no longer my creation, and it's like, I wouldn't say prop. It's like a element of your world now. So when we were doing it, in my brain, I'm like, this is my bowl. Like I made this, but like I was holding it, being like, oh, okay, I need to be really careful with this because this is Brandon's tea bowl. This is Brandon's tea. This is the culture. This is like, you know. And then I was like, and then you were like, you have to, before when you're explaining how it works, you're like, you have to hold it and you have to admire the bowl. I was like, how do I admire my own bowl?
Yo, that's actually crazy.
You know?
Yeah.
And then I was like looking at it and being like, huh, interesting. I guess I never like sit down and admire it. I more like look for the imperfections. And when I was doing it, I was like, oh, interesting. So this is what like this is one of there's a dot here that I keep staring at because it's like an imperfection for me.
Oh my gosh, that's so crazy that that's what you look at.
But I kept on staring at that the whole
Wow.
time. But like, other than that, I was like looking at the spiral and I was like, oh, so this is what matcha when it's all drunken and dried up looks like in this bowl, and like it's no longer mine now. Like it's cool because you made it yours.
And were you able to appreciate it when you were, after you had bow and then you drank it, like, and you hold it with your hands? Did you feel like you were able to appreciate it in a new context, or was there still a bit of like meta dissonance?
I think there still is like that meta dissonance,
Okay.
but I was able to appreciate it in the sense of like, I know that normally you're supposed to be like, this is a pretty bowl, this is a beautiful bowl, but I was more like, this is a really interesting experience. Like, I wonder how many people get to experience this, such as like it would be so cool if like all ceramic artists were able to make something and then they had to treat it like it wasn't theirs, and how that would make them feel about their craft. Like go to a fine dining restaurant and all their stuff is on their plate, but now it's like no longer theirs. Or matcha tea ceremony. And I was like feeling that, but now it's no longer mine, even though I was just like going in circles of the same thing.
That's
like,
fascinating.
And it's almost like I wish more people felt this with their own work, because it helps you have an appreciation for yourself to a certain degree. Because you know how you were like, it's because they respect your craft, man. And I go like, yeah, whatever. But it is like, now I'm like,
You can understand that a little bit.
a little bit better, because if this was someone else's bowl that they made, like the one that you were using,
The other one we used for the
I
collection.
was actually like, oh wow, this is a sick bowl.
Yeah.
But now putting myself in the context of like, this is mine and
Yeah.
I have to appreciate
Yeah.
it was like, I'm not putting this in good words, but I'm not using my words very well, but it was like this really great experience. And it's also cooler because normally, from my understanding, is the way that tea ceremonies work is not like how we did it. This is like a modified version, like how you said, right? But I think that's the cool part too. I don't want to like hate on tradition,
Yeah.
but dude, we're like, you're a half Japanese, half Chinese dude doing a traditional Japanese matcha tea ceremony with a Korean American kid who grew up in LA, you grew up in Seattle, you went to UCLA. USC, sorry. You went to USC, and then now we're in
the city.
a New York City in an apartment. We have sky rises. We're in one of the apartments, you know? And maybe I'm thinking too much of like a fine artist but like it's almost like you scale it back, and to a certain degree it's like, yes, we're doing a tea ceremony, but it's like, whoa, like who would have ever thought of like, oh, I bet one day when we're like perfecting this craft, like,
That's
you know,
actually,
like Japanese people back in the day, they're like, yeah, when we're perfecting this craft, I can't wait until like two kids who are completely different culture, grew up not even close to Japan itself, like physically, are now gonna be practicing this version of what we're doing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
I think the Buddhist monks would be shaking their head when they see the
Dude,
mistakes
right?
I made, bro. But the way you put it in perspective, that's amazing.
but I think the Buddhist monks would also be like, that's beautiful,
like-
because it's like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, no, totally. I think it's like, I mean, what I love so much about the tea ceremony and just like things in general, I can appreciate tradition. I think that is one thing that has made Japan become such like a fascinating nation. I mean, they like closed their borders very early on, so that their own culture would just stayed like very Japanese.
Yeah.
And that still exists today. Like
Yeah.
things are just ubiquitously Japanese because of that way. So I think tradition at its core is a great thing.
Yeah.
But like you're saying, like there is a necessary evolution that kind of needs to take place. I mean, like even right now, the yen is very weak, and I think it is in parts due to like the large amounts of bureaucracy that just occur in Japan because things are done the way things have always been done, and sometimes that's slow. I mean, our tea ceremony was very slow.
Yeah.
I mean, thankfully in this case, you know, we're not trying to like run a country. We're trying to like get into like our Zen mode.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I like what you say that like innovation and putting things into perspective like is a very wonderful thing. And who would have thought that all this would have happened on your third day of getting this new haircut?
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah.
This the debut, bro.
It's like brand new, right? But yeah, it's just like I think in that manner a little too much sometimes.
It is very cerebral.
It
like,
is.
Yeah.
But it's also like it helps me be more grateful for things. And I don't know where you stand on this, right? But like we're both Christian, and I think when it comes to our faith, it's very important to have like gratitude.
Oh, dude,
you know?
gratitude is everything.
Gratitude is everything, right?
Yeah.
And when I backtrack and scale out, it really helps. And for me, like obviously life is not perfect. Everything's not great. Like anyone in the world, even if you're like the richest man, or even if you're like X, Y, and Z, you're not. Your life's not perfect, right? It could be close, maybe, but I think when I'm like living life and I go like, oh man, I could easily focus on like, man, I wish today I had more time to do X, Y, Z. I wish I woke up earlier. I wish I could work out in this certain manner. I wish I ate this. I wish I didn't do this. But scaling back, I go, dude, I woke up today. I'm breathing today, you know?
Yo.
Like, I try to keep that mindset.
Yeah,
like,
I
I
mean,
wake up and I go, Grant, you're like, even you, like, dude, we're two young dudes living in New York City in the 2025, where yes, politics and everything could be shaky, and yes, there's a lot of things going on in the world, but
we're here.
We're here. We have
made
enough
it.
money to eat good food. Like we just ate really good chicken.
Shout out Three Roosters.
Shout out Three Roosters. we have the able bodies to walk around the city and enjoy, and like the weather today was pretty good too.
Yeah.
And just like small things like that. I think when you scale back, it's like I am living a great life, and sometimes we just wish we had more, and that's why we think we're not.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I'm very it makes me happy to hear that you have some like almost checks and balances for yourself to remind yourself to have gratitude. And I think gratitude or like an optimistic mindset, it really goes a long way in life. Being able to just have hope even goes so far. And even in like the tea ceremony, like one of the reasons why it's so fulfilling to me and why it's like it's been like one of my biggest endeavors since moving to the city and becoming more of a older adult, I guess, is that it is in itself a grounding practice for me. The way that we just sat in silence with each other, if you just close your eyes and like if you were like when you're sitting there the whole time, if you just closed your eyes and you didn't even watch me, just the soft sounds of me lifting the bowl, hitting the chawan with the whisking the tea itself, all of these little. I mean, I think the microphone will pick up different elements of it really well. I hope it does. But all of that is just very grounding. We live in like just outside. Cars honking. Yada yada. Everything chaos. But for just like 10 minutes. I mean, 10 minutes is a lot to make a bowl of tea. I mean, most people like to have their things as quick as possible. Exactly. But this practice, while it is slow, It is very grounding and humbling. And every material we're using is from the earth. Your ceramic is a piece of clay. This whisk is bamboo. The natsume, the caddy holding the tea, is wood and lacquer. And the tea itself is a plant, right? Yeah. Everything is part of the earth, which is why it connects back to Zen and Zen Buddhism and aspects of that. But the whole thing in itself is just really centering and reminds you, like, hey, like, you're here in this moment. And for me, that kind of like just sets my day or like my mindset off on the right foot. And I think is one of a few things that have allowed me to really just be grateful for my life in the city.
Yeah, that's great. Like, I feel like I would never be able to put it in words like you, or like at least the process, right?
I mean, and that's the thing, is like between like this and like going to a matcha like store or like a coffee shop, like this experience is not meant to be like sold in a coffee shop. Yeah. Like, you could sell ceremonial grade matcha latte, whatever. But like the practice of the ceremony itself is like, I mean, we're using good quality matcha and I hope it tasted like good. Yeah. But like, it's just great. Matcha and water, you know, we're not like, the goal is not for me to like give you this like amazing like flavor blast experience with oat milk, and like that's just different. It's like apples and oranges. Yeah. Like here I mean, the matcha should taste good because the quality is good, and like, you know, you want it to feel very earthly. That's kind of the idea that you're going for here. Yeah. Yeah, it's less about the taste and more about the experience and the feeling that you get once throughout the whole ceremony. Yeah,
it's really beautiful. Playing on those words is like, I think it's really beautiful because like what you said, it's about rooting yourself, and it's also like the experience. Like, you're not supposed to sell it, right? You're supposed to experience it. Yeah. And it's super beautiful because it's like this it's just showing this moment of like caring for something or someone. And yes. And as the person who's preparing the matcha, it's like, I'm sure you're like, I need to do this right, not just for me, but for the guest. No, right?
It's yeah.
And then as the guest too, it's like, I think this is like one of the few times where you think, as a guest, I need to do this right, so I could so I could appreciate it. So I could show my appreciation to the person preparing.
Exactly. Yes,
like
you get
respect on respect.
Yes,
you know.
Get it. Yes.
So it's like, you make it, you hand it to me, and you're like, oh, I hope I'm doing this well. And then me, I'm like, oh, I hope he knows that I'm like, yeah.
The Japanese translation, because we went over like how we would go about it, and then what I ask you after I serve you the tea is like, pretty much I'm saying like, this tea is so bad, isn't it? And then you're in response is like, no, this tea is so great. Yeah, no, it's like the whole thing is like, it's a little like funny because it's like everyone's just trying to like, you know, like, oh my gosh, like, is it okay? I hope it's okay. I think it's okay. But like, I mean, besides all that, like, yes, when I'm making you the bowl of tea, like, the idea of hospitality is like at the forefront. Like, even down to how much like froth or like bubbles you want. I mean, that is one part that the barista in the matcha maker is doing. Like, I'm trying to think, you know, how much froth or how many bubbles should I give Grant in this tea? And like, the pros of if I give you like all bubbles is that the texture is like more fun. Yeah. But then if it's all bubbles, then like, you won't be, when you're looking at the tea, you can't see the color. Yeah. And the color is a big part of I mean, the only ingredients in this is matcha and water. So the color and the fragrance, it's supposed to be a whole sensory experience. So if I make you all bubbles, then you can't see the depth of the color. And so, I mean, what my sensei has told me is for like people that are new to matcha or like kids will appreciate more bubbles because it's just more fun. Yeah. But if you're making it for someone who is not those, like, you might want to think about doing like kind of like a crescent moon. So sometimes that's what I'll try and do is create a crescent moon where it's like partly bubble, so you still have like the fun froth, the nice texture, but you also have an area of the bowl where you can see the depth
Yeah.
of the color. And then when you taste it, you get a mix of both of them. But like those are the kinds of things that are going on in my head when I'm whisking you the tea. And yeah, the whole practice of it is very like hospitality driven. And it's a great joy for me to be able to do this for you. I mean, in the same way that like you have made such beautiful works and you give like graciously gift them, sell them to, you know, people. Like for me, this is an avenue of my life that I really just am passionate about. And yeah, not a ton of people are super familiar with the way that the ceremony is done. And so in practice of trying to be more hospitable or just practicing just like hospitality in general, it is very life-giving for me to make a bowl of tea for someone. But yeah, it's just really amazing that we're able to have this sort of like exchange where, you know, I enter your world, I visit your ceramic studio, I get this bowl, and then here I am making you a bowl in return. That's just crazy to me.
Whoa,
bro.
wait! I never thought of it like
That's just so
I made a
crazy.
bowl for you, and now you're making a bowl for me. Oh,
That's so
yeah, that's great.
Dog,
That's
that
actually
deserves
great.
a dap, bro.
That's actually
That's a
great.
dap
That's
worthy,
actually
bro.
great. Whoa. Okay, so the three questions, or I don't remember all three, but I had a few where like, one of them was you were talking about how it calms you and how it like recenters you, and that's how you like to start your day. And I was wondering, do you do this every day?
Yes.
Like in the morning, like first thing when you wake up.
Yeah. So okay. So my morning routine is it's very sacred to me.
Okay.
It is. I'm technically an extrovert. I generally am like out a lot of the times after work, and so morning is like when I actually have time to like myself. So when I wake up, what I'll do is. Well, I shower at morning and night, but I'll take my morning shower and then I'll heat the tea kettle up while I'm in the shower. Then I get out of the shower and then I'll read devotional and then I'll read a passage of whatever book of the Bible I'm reading and then I'll meditate for about 10 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And it is in a new attempt starting this year for me. I mean, I've been meditating for a few years, but this is the first time this year where I've been trying to like silently meditate. I first started with Headspace and then I moved to like a guided Christian meditation.
Is it the spiritually, emotionally healthy?
It's a little different. It's called Hollow or Halo.
Okay. Oh, the app?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it.
Okay, yeah. So I was doing that for like about a year and I ran through most of those ones. And then I've been trying to hear God's voice more. And so the guided Christian meditations are helpful to an extent, but like I think at least right now, like it's on my heart to just have silence.
Yeah.
And so I've been trying, emphasis on trying, to do about 10 minutes or so of silence to just see if I can engage and hear if God is saying anything to me. And then once I finish that, the tea kettle is at a nice temperature now.
Okay.
And then I'll do a modified version of a tea ceremony. So I won't like do this whole like do it on the ground, like I'll do it on the kitchen counter, but I'll bring the tray out, I'll bring the tea caddy out and all of these materials, even this cloth, which is like a purifying, it purifies the bowl before you make the tea. So I'll do all of that and make myself a bowl and then I'll eat cereal.
Oh, that's sick, dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
so
the morning
cool.
routine though, but like it is.
When do you wake up?
Depends, but like, 8.
Okay.
8:30.
Oh, wow. So your morning routine is almost like a whole like hour plus.
Not hour plus. I mean, maybe like 30 to 40.
30
to 40. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. The tea ceremony itself probably takes like 6 to 7 minutes.
6 to 7 minutes?
Yeah. I mean, on days when I have to rush a little bit more, it's not as like, at its best, it is exactly how you're able to experience it today. But obviously every day it's, sometimes you're just going through the motions and getting through the day. But like the idea of it is always to like have this time carved out
Mm-hmm.
to try and, you know, just
Oh,
start the
wow.
day off. Start the day off on a good note.
Dude,
What?
that's dope.
Yo, thanks,
No,
bro.
that's actually so
Oh,
sick.
I
Cause like
appreciate that.
I, I'm trying to get back into the flow of like before I would wait. I would have my sacred morning time as well, but lately I've just been like really bad at it. And I've noticed that it affects me. And it sounds so great to hear yours, and it's like oh I need to get back into
Yeah,
it too, you
yeah.
know. Cause like before I would like shower in the morning. I shower at night and morning as well. I would shower in the morning, and then after I shower, I would I grab like I usually have overnight oats or like something, you know.
That's fire.
So I just like with a protein shake or something, and then I just
you killing it, bro. You killing it.
and then I sit down with a book or the daily devotional, and I'm actually really happy to hear that you're doing it. And also this past Sunday, the sermon was about like silence and stillness.
Oh.
And I'm really happy to hear all these things because before I even knew that people were doing this, or before I even knew if it was like right, I have a friend back at home who's talking to me about meditation, and then one of my pastors like the difference between meditation and like how you meditate as a Christian is like X, Y, and Z. You kind of want it to be more prayer focused, but I normally would have like woken up, showered, eaten breakfast, and then sat down and then just like breathe and then focus on my breathing for however long. Sometimes it was like a minute, sometimes it would be 5 minutes, sometimes it would be like 30 minutes, depending on how I felt that day. But during that breathing, I'll try to be like, I would try to focus on God. And if I couldn't, I would just repeat like, Lord, fill this place with or fill this atmosphere. Holy Spirit, please fill this atmosphere. Please, you are welcome here. And I would just like repeat that. And then when I felt calm enough, I would just like breathe. And then after that's when I would do my daily Devo. And then I would spend like some time praying, right? And I know that's beneficial, and I know that's great. And I know it's like, oh, I need that back in my life. But lately I just haven't done it. But because like the sermon that I heard was about silence and stillness, it would like reinforce, oh wait, yes, being silent, being still is good. And you talking about, I was like, hey, another homie's doing it, you know. And then Elliot recently bought me a Devo book, and it's about silence and stillness as well. And Elliot's my roommate, or like you guys probably saw him if you see the other video. But I think it's really cool because just like it kind of shows like we're all trying to like be focused again and re-ground ourselves. And you talking about how you're doing it, I'm like jealous of your morning routine. Like I want to start doing it again. I need to be more disciplined in that manner. But dude, that's like I just want to be there. Like I want to be there, not in like a physical being, but like just like I would just want to watch your morning. That sounds creepy, but like you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like,
oh
wow,
I mean,
you
I'm
wake
flattered.
up, you do this, you do that, you do your matcha, you do your. It's just like, oh wow, that sounds really. And I think, I don't know. Tell me what you think on this, but for me at least, being in the city forces me almost to want that more. Because it's so, at least for me, it's so hectic and it's so like
for sure. I mean, that's one of the driving reasons that I feel like I do it. I mean, I think since moving to the city, like you just feel the elements of things more, even like the weather, because like in LA, Seattle, like you drive, but like here, like I step out of my apartment and like I instantly I'm like, okay, it's cold, it's hot, like I'm already feeling something more than I would than if I'm like in my car in like my own controlled environment. Like I'm stepping outside, I feel the weather right away. I feel the energy of the people that I'm walking next to in the subway, the smells, like I'm just immersed in this crazy but beautiful world. But that's just a lot, you know, there's just a lot going on. Like even if I'm just not even doing anything, the external forces around me, there's just a lot of chaos. So it is totally intentional for me to build some regimented routine to try and ground myself. And I think people in general are very routine oriented. Like my dog, he's like clockwork. I mean, I think dogs and people, like, they're just meant to like exist in a rhythm of things. And so as best as you can get into like healthy rhythms, like I think if you if you want to go back to these types of like mindfulness practices, like I think if you just started and did it like 3 days in a row, like you would start to like gradually build that back, and I think it would stick with you for a while. And so like for me, even if I don't necessarily have the time, like I'll at least try and do some aspect of it so that I don't lose it, you know. I think consistency is key for these kinds of things. But the fact that we live in this crazy New York world, like, kind of makes it like necessary for me to like have consistency, because otherwise it's all chaos.
No, I relate to that 100%. It's thank you for like, you know, just saying all that.
Of course, bro. No, thank you for listening.
I also wanted to, this is like side 10 or not side, but like another topic. You said you wanted to, and we don't have to, but you said you in the beginning you're like, oh, talking about your culture, and you're like, we could get into that.
Oh yeah.
And you were like, I want, like, you would want to. I just want to ask, like, how do you feel about, because I don't even know how to frame this, because it's like, because I could easily ask you, like, oh, how does it feel to be X, Y, and Z, or how does it feel to live X, Y, and Z, but I just wanted to know, like, just like your thoughts.
Sure. Yeah, I guess for more context for you, I might have told you before, but so like my background maybe to some might be like different, but my mom is Japanese, my dad is Chinese, and I'm fourth generation on both sides.
On both sides? On
both sides.
Dang, dude. Okay, that's crazy.
So on my dad's side, on my Chinese side, I come from like my great grandparents came from Guangdong region, so I'm like half Cantonese, I guess. But they came to Seattle in like the late 1800s, I believe. And yeah, like my great grandfather, he's got like he did a lot of stuff for like OG Chinatown in Seattle, like affiliated with like fisheries and like I think the railroads. He definitely created a name for himself. And then his son, so my great grandfather, he was the first Chinese American to graduate from the University of Washington. So he, like, my Chinese side has just been on some like OG Seattle stuff.
They've been grinding.
Yeah. And so, that's my Chinese side. Then my Japanese side also came over, like, I think a little bit later, but still enough to be four generations. But my grandfather grew up in like the Japanese internment camps in Idaho.
Really? He grew up? Oh, wow. Okay.
And his older sister was born, or younger sister, she was born in one of the internment camps. And so, that's crazy. So like one side of like my Chinese side is kind of like this, like in an airplane view, is kind of like a very rich legacy of like heritage that I'm proud of. And then on my Japanese side, it looks a little bit different. I mean, it's more resilience. And I mean, not that my Chinese side isn't resilience, but like, you know, it's just the lenses that you can view them through are very different. But you know, zoom past the next like century, and then you have like me and my sister who are like, you know, grow up speaking English. Like I'm learning Japanese and like I'm reconnecting with tradition. But like I never grew up speaking Japanese or Chinese to my grandparents because they were born in America. So even they don't really speak. Like they can understand some Japanese and they can understand some Chinese, but like they're not talking in Japanese or Chinese. So I think like for me, I like growing up in this like pretty American white suburb. I never really like thought too much about like my culture, but when I got to college and was meeting more like first and second generation like Korean or Chinese or Taiwanese people, it really kind of put into perspective like, oh, like a lot of my friends, they speak a second language because they're communicating with their parents or their grandparents who only speak those languages.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, it's like oh, I only speak English. So yeah, I think there's just like multiple ways in which I kind of internalize that. One is like wanting to rediscover some of that. Like I have like, because you speak Korean.
Yeah.
I really like think that's amazing to be able to like have that exist within you. And like, I guess quick question, like if you have kids, like would you want them to learn Korean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
100%,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because wait, are you first or second gen? I guess people
Wait, how does
define
that
it
work?
differently. Like were your parents
I
born
was
here?
I was born here.
Okay.
I was the first person in my entire family to be born here.
Okay. So the way that I characterize it, I guess, is your parents, they were the first generation to come to the US.
Okay.
And you would be the second.
Yeah. Okay.
And so your kids would be the third. So your grandkids would be the fourth, which is me.
Which is you.
Yeah. So like think about that.
Yeah, hopefully they're still speaking Korean, but
Right.
they probably won't be.
Yeah, it's just there's less variability.
Yeah.
And like let's say you married like someone who's not Korean,
Yeah.
like you would want your kids to speak Korean so they can talk to your parents maybe. But then like you still speak English mostly, like assuming you still live in the US and whatnot, like your kids' kids, the need for them to speak Korean becomes
Even less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like for my mom, she decided to like have me take violin lessons when I was 3 instead of like I guess learning Japanese when I was 3. And I guess pros and cons to whatever decision that they make. But like now that I'm like a full adult and like making sense of like what all of that means, yeah, I'm extremely proud of the different cultures that I represent and I am, but also like there is a bit of wanting to rediscover some of that. So that one of the cons is having some of that language lost.
Yeah.
One of the pros, I guess, is that like I think in its best you have like you create this curiosity, which is what I think is one of my strengths, is that like because I'm kind of like this hybrid of different cultures, like I want to learn more, not even just on my own, of like other people's cultures. Like it becomes this melting pot. Is one of the reasons that I think has intrinsically motivated me to come to a city like New York. When you go on the subway and you're immersed in hearing 10 different languages.
No facts.
I think like if I ever move to another place outside of the US, I would like to move to Tokyo. Not saying that I would, but if I could choose, I would choose to move to Tokyo. And I think that it would be great because like if I went on the train and like everyone, you get on the train in like Asia, but especially in Japan, and everyone follows the same set of rules and it's clean and no one's like being crazy. Like
Not
that
like
is
New York.
Yes, it's really beautiful, but it's homogenous.
Yeah.
So there's pros and cons to that, right?
Yeah.
Like one of the things I mean, that would be really great in itself. But what I also love about living in New York and being like in this melting pot of different cultures is that I can hear so many different types of people when I'm on the train.
Yeah.
The con of it is that it gets really crazy and everyone has their different standards of what like existing in public looks like, and no one actually speaks the same language, so you're all on different pages and it's chaos, and that's what New York is. And that's what also makes it so great. So I don't know, I feel like I have both sides of that in me. I have the chaos version that like just wants to get to know everything and seek that and be curious, but I also have like the traditional side, or the side that seeks purity, or that seeks like form, aka like going back to the original language and the original way that things are done. They both kind of coexist within me.
And it's like, and you were talking about this earlier, like with your friend group, like when in our lives would we have ever imagined when I'm at this certain age, I will be living in New York, but I'll also be friends with like a 30-something-year-old.
Just like
what is Daisy?
Oh yeah. Oh, I mean, I don't want to put Daisy's name.
I bleep that. But we're friends with people who are like from different races.
Yes,
like
exactly.
The Latin race. We like friends who are Chinese, Korean, Japanese. Friends who are just like also like, yes, they're Chinese and yes, they're Korean, but they're also American.
Yeah.
And we're American, but we're also like this other thing. And I think I also want to get your thoughts on like, for me at least, um, I've noticed, or I feel like I've witnessed that for people like us who are another culture, another race, but we're also American, um, like we kind of have this need or kind of have this want to reconnect to our roots.
For sure.
And we kind of respect our heritage and our culture a little bit more than people who are born into it. And I don't know if you've experienced it, but for me at least, it's like I want to get to know like traditional Korean things, and I find the beauty in it, and
Yeah.
I want to keep it living. And I like when it comes to Korean ceramics, when it comes to like hanok, which is a Korean house, traditional houses, I like love the way they are built, love the way they are painted. Like I wish we could like keep that alive, but I feel like at least in Korea, a lot less people my age, our age, want to keep that alive or even care about it.
Like in Korea.
In Korea. But when you come to America, it's like all these, from their perspective, all these fake Koreans really want to reconnect and keep Korea alive. And I don't know, like, how do you see that in like at least your cultures, or like?
I think I have more dissonance with that because I'm two more cultures and split removed.
Yeah.
So I think the way that you bring that up is really fascinating to me because there's kind of like an irony involved because like you are an ocean's throw away from your motherland and you're trying to bring aspects of it in America, yet the people that are from Korea are seeing it as, the way you describe it is almost like fake, or like not like oh you're just like trying, but like you're not actually in Korea, so it's like the next best thing. But then the people that are actually in Korea are not necessarily like like making an umbrella statement, but like not necessarily like coveting these aspects of tradition as much, but they're the ones that are in the land, so it's like kind of like they have the pass, right? Like they can afford not to think about it, whereas you, because you're not there, like it's like almost in a way to like compensate for not being there. Obviously that's not the case, but like that's kind of the way you described it is like the irony of it, which is just really, really interesting. I think what makes America so beautiful is that they are of so many walks of life. And I think America at its best is this cultural exchange, this like network of trading aspects of people and where they come from. And like I think that is what at its best can make America so great, but also can be divisional too at its worst. That's really interesting. I don't think I fully like have experienced what you have described, especially because I don't have family in Japan or China anymore that I am like connected with. But I could totally see that. Like I do know that like Japanese tea ceremony is not like I think young people do not like practice like, and it's like if I was in Japan and was Japanese and was doing tea ceremony and was like trying to have this kind of conversation with a Japanese grant or something, it might be like, oh, totally different conversation. It might be like, why are you
still
this?
doing that?
Yeah, like why aren't like don't you have to like be applying to more jobs or something like that? Like
or something.
Yeah, no, this is totally like this scenario that we are in is a product of us being in America.
And it's like,
because this is not American, right? But
it's not.
But it's existing because we are in America a little bit.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, this is like, I know a lot of people talk about race and culture, especially like Asian community lately has been like, oh, I feel this way and I feel that way, and I'm trying to bring back this and I'm trying to bring back that, but it's like, I'm also trying to reflect on that too, of like, a lot of, can't say that, but I don't know if I can say that, but, no, I'll say it. I think a lot of people, at least in the Asian American community, is like, we all kind of grew up this cultural semi-similar way of like, it's not the exact same, but you'll watch something or you'll read something and you're like, oh no, I feel that, I relate to that. Like, I'm not Chinese and nowhere am I close to being Chinese, but when I watched like Didi, the film, right, it's like, I feel that.
Oh, for sure.
You know?
Yeah.
But it's also different because like, we grew up in the suburbs, so we probably feel that. But if we grew up in the city, we probably would feel a
True.
little bit less like
Yeah.
that. Or like, I actually recently read Crying at H Mart after like
Oh.
I was like, oh, so
Wait.
dead against it.
Oh, okay. Go on.
But wait, what?
Well, I just went and saw it. Do you know she's like the lead singer of a...
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I went to their... she had a recital concert on Saturday.
Oh, really?
For her new album.
Oh, was that where you went with?
Yes.
Oh no, shut.
Yeah, bro.
That's crazy.
Yo,
dude.
yeah. I was at the concert and I took Daisy, and
I'll bleep it, but it's okay. That's sick.
yeah.
Oh no way.
Yeah.
Okay. Whoa. Cause I didn't know she wrote that book, and
Crying
I
in
didn't
H
know it
Mart.
was a book.
So you knew Japanese Breakfast before, or you knew
I've heard of Crying or Japanese Breakfast before, but I was never like, I never really like listened to her music, or their music, and then like a few years back, Crying at H Mart blew up and everyone was talking about it, and I was just like, huh. What is this about? And people are just like, oh, it's just like a Asian American experience. That's so relatable. You should read it, Grant, because you're Korean and American. I'm like, no, gross. Leave me alone. You know.
Yeah.
But after thinking about it for a while, I was like, why not? So many people. Like maybe I'll like see what it's about. And it kind of blew my mind in the sense of, she grew up in a completely different area with completely different situations and completely different parents, and she is also like half Korean, half white. But I resonated to whatever she was expressing so much that I was like, huh, it's crazy to think how we all live a very similar yet minutely different childhood, and we experience it extremely differently, but experience it also extremely similarly. And I just think that's like, maybe because this is just part of the stage of life that I'm at, is I'm trying to recontextualize or redefine what that is, in the sense of like, this specific culture that we live in is so specific. It's such a niche, I feel like, that like, unless you're in it, you're not going to connect to it. As in, and a good example that my friend was telling me about was like, Orange County car culture is such a specific niche that you're never going to be like, you're gonna be like, I don't get it until you go there and experience it. Same thing I feel like with like being an Asian American is like a niche on its own. But then now we break it down to being Korean American, Japanese American, Chinese American, or mixed Asian American. It's like each one is so different that I'm like, it's really cool to see how different it, but it's also like, you zoom out and you're like, wait, I relate to these experiences so much, and I find it really unsettling, but also very comforting to know that exists to a certain degree. I don't know. I'm putting this in.
Well, I think the way I interpret that is like, yes, we are all very different, and we all like grew up in different ways, but it is a human like instinct to connect.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know what Orange County car culture is like.
Yeah.
But, there is a way in which you can try and connect that feeling you got to something that I can understand. And for you, like, you grew up different than Michelle's Honor of Japanese Breakfast.
Yeah.
Yet you still found something in there that you connected with. And I think, at least from an artistic perspective, the more that you can convey something that people can connect to, like the more beautiful it can become. Like, I think one thing that I've learned somewhat recently was, when I make or create something, I have almost like an instinct to like describe my idea behind it. Like, for example, I asked you what this bowl was, but when you gave me the bowl, you didn't give me the bowl and say, hey, like, this is what I was thinking, and I was trying to use the L-shaped tool to do, like you just gave it to me, and you let me feel whatever I wanted to feel, and as a result, I really connected to the bottom of this bowl. I didn't know how it was. I didn't know what your authorship was behind it, and it's cool to know, but you didn't like throw that onto me, right?
Yeah.
You gave it to me and let me experience it for what it was, and then I connected with it with whatever I connected with it, and I think that that's really amazing. And so that's something that I've been learning recently, is when I create something and give it to someone or present it, whether it's just like a post or like an actual thing that I give to someone, to not like rush and all of a sudden be like, hey, like connect with this part because this is what I want you to connect with it. Like, I let it breathe, and if you connect with what I'm trying to, with what my intention was, like, amazing. But if you connect with something totally different, like, that's okay. And the way that connection comes up in unintended ways is beautiful, and we need to let that space have its own. Like, for example, with this Guernica replica that I just got in Spain, like, like I've been reading a book on Guernica. Like, I've never read a book on a whole painting, so like my goal is to become just like really like in tune with like this painting. But like, you see this painting and you like might connect with something that Picasso never even imagined. I mean, because he painted this in like 1937, I believe. And it's like connected to the Spanish Civil War. Like, if I never told you any of that, like, you might just look at like one of these aspects and connect to something in your life that's totally different. But you might see this woman in anguish and connect to it in a way that reminds you of something that is personal to your life. And that's, to me, that's really beautiful. I think that's what I really love about art, is that two different people can look at it and interpret so many different things. And those interpretations probably have nothing to do with what the original artist intended, but like, that's okay, because as humans, we're all just seeking to connect to something. And I think that that's just like amazing.
Sorry, I was listening, but the whole time I was thinking like, man, Brandon, you're so good at putting things into words.
What?
Because like when I was saying everything, I was like, where am I going with this?
Oh no, but I understood what you were. I think so. I mean, I think I was. Yeah. I mean,
but then the way that you took it, and then how you applied it to how you registered it, and how what that's making you think. It's like, you're really good at I'm not trying to like push this subject aside, but you're really good at letting the other person like go through, and maybe that relates to why you want to like present it and then immediately rush in and be like, this is X, Y, and Z, and this is X, Y, and Z, this is what I was feeling, is because you're really good at least what I've experienced from the two of us talking this throughout our friendship, is like, you're really good at like taking someone's like comments or information and then helping the other person ride the wave that you are experiencing and connecting the thoughts. It's like a roller coaster where you're just like, and then we go here, and then this is how it goes here, and then it goes here, and it connects to this exactly, and you're like, oh, I see it. Whoa.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're really, dude.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I wish I was like listening, and I was like, wow, that's good. That's good. That's good. And
I mean, there were points that you brought up that I was just connecting with, honestly.
Connects to connections, but it's yeah, man, it's sick. You're sick. No, it's and I think you should know that, because I'm not the only person. Like there's other people who have told me that you're really like, I think the word, I may be wrong, I'm gonna paraphrase, but they pretty much said like, Brandon's really eloquent with his speech, and he's very like, they felt that you're very particular with certain words that you use, and it's a good thing, because it's like it without the cadence and without the vernacular that you chose, it wouldn't have taken people on that ride as smoothly.
Oh.
At least that's how I'm feeling.
Oh, interesting.
You know?
Yeah. Oh, that's very flattering. Whoever.
No,
I don't know,
it
but
was like
I appreciate that.
multiple people.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah, I just think you should know that.
Oh, thank you.
It's a gift. Because I
Oh.
was like, man, how do I talk like him? You know?
No, bro. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. But I mean, what I see in you is like kind of like this erratic minefield of like so many different ideas and things, and like you have such a desire to manifest all of them, and it is a little chaotic, but like that's just like that's who you are, you know. Like, I mean, sure, maybe there are different practices in which that like you could organize your thoughts or your plans like more succinctly, but like underlying all of that is just like this charge, which I think so many is special. Like, I don't know a lot of people that have that, that have these feelings where they're able to have everything in perspective. For example, like I really admire the way that you had this whole perspective of like, we're in New York together in this apartment and like doing the tea ceremony in two different cultures, like, and being able to like formulate all of that. And then I feel like you have all of these different types of things, and a lot of them are ideas for art pieces. For example, you're building a chair, you're doing your first furniture piece, and you're like 60-70% done with it in a single day. Like that, people will have an idea for something and they will let it pass. Whereas you might be working on 500 things at once, editing like shorts, but also posting your own pictures, and then also doing these interview things while also making your chair, while also writing your thesis, while also trying to find a job. Like, you're juggling a lot of things, and that's amazing. So even if you cannot like put everything in a succinct package, like that's okay. Like that will come. I think right now that's just like your environment is like very stressful. There's a lot going on, and you're navigating through this tidal wave. But once and like God will provide. We were talking about this earlier. You know, you take everything day by day. You know, life will out, and you will find your footing. And when you do find your footing, I think you'll find that you'll be able to connect all of the dots, and you'll be able to put everything together in a nice package.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I think that was I believe, that was a really, wow. Yeah, thank you.
That's how I see you, bro.
Dude, I appreciate that so
Dude.
much. I appreciate that so much. Because I think it's very accurate on what you said, and I appreciate it because I guess I don't think of it in that way of like, oh, I'm just trying to do what I need to do, but yeah, it made me feel seen, so I appreciate that. Yeah.
I mean, every single thing that you're doing has so much purpose behind it, and also it's not just me, it's so many people around me that is like, you know, like the things that Grant makes, like people just they just can't do it. Like, I mean, maybe you could teach someone to be a potter or teach someone how to make a chair, but they can't do it the way that you do it, and the way that you do it is beautiful and is something that is worthy of pursuing. And a lot of people have everyone everyone has the ability to be like the best version of themselves and beautiful, but that involves risk and involves vulnerability. And risk and vulnerability are two attributes to you that you like don't let cloud your vision. You have your vision and you seek it to the fullest. I think one thing that inspires me, at least in an artistic manner, is like, I have an idea. I would really love to one day put a photo book together. And it's an idea that I've had, but it's something that I've been marinating on, but like, you know, it involves risk and vulnerability, and like, yeah, I haven't done it yet. And I've done like 20 plus rolls of film, and I still haven't like actually like put anything into photo book practice. And so, I mean, in being close to you and being surrounded by you, I get like an artistic motivation that's like, you know what, like I should just try it. And so yeah, I mean, that is one thing that I've taken from I'm taking from our friendship and our talks is like, Like, I mean, you spent a whole afternoon building a chair, and like why who says I can't like make a photo book, you know?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
that's like I'm like this man Grant's out here building,
Ah,
like come
thank
on,
you,
bro.
man.
Come
Thank you.
on,
No,
bro.
for real.
Oh, I got you.
Dude,
I got you.
thank you, man. No, but I mean, like, not no, but do it. Like, I think, man, it's thank you so much for that. And it's crazy that you view it that way, because for me, it's me just like, why not? It's just like I'm sporadic because I just do things because, like the glaze, right? Like the spiral. It's not like I'm gonna think about it and meditate. It's like, should I do more? Should I do less? I'll just do more. Let's see what happens. But that's how I approach it. But I appreciate that you view it in the way of like, of how you view it, right? It's just like, I'm very thankful that people view me in that way, because I feel like easily people could view me like, Grant's just doing everything and he doesn't know what he's doing. He's like chaotic. He's everywhere. But I appreciate that. You know, like I can't put it in words, but yeah. And about the photo book,
What?
do it.
Okay.
No, I mean like, because okay, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk about logistics real quick for a second, right? It's like you have photos, right?
Yeah.
And if you want new photos, you could take them.
Yeah.
And you have the experiences to do so, and you're good at photos, so just go for it, right? Second, think about how you're gonna bind the book. Are you gonna bind it yourself? Are you gonna hire someone to bind it? Are you gonna, right? That could go multiple crazy ways, and I think it'll be dope. And you could start off with just making one for yourself, right? And then you could also be like telling some friends here and there, like secretly, and then they're like, "Oh, really? How much would you think it would be?" And you're like, "Oh, I mean, I just want to like maybe if I did make it, it'd be like $30 or 20 or 50, right? Depending on how much your cost is, right? Or you could give it out for as gifts, and then I'm sure there's gonna be friends who are like, dude, I wanna, you know, like go for it. And you have Adobe, right? So you could.
I do. Yeah.
You could lay it all out, search up different photo books. We could go check out different photo books together.
Dude, yo, wait, can we?
Yeah, we can.
Bro.
No, I'm so down. We should schedule it.
Bro.
We could check out a bunch of photo books stores.
Holy, I'm so down.
And then they each, like, some artists have like passages and they have like little writings, and I know that you like writing.
I do.
So you could do that. And then you could also think about the quality of paper and all these, like, I feel like in modern day we have so many resources that if you just want to do it, you could just do it.
Oh my god!
And the only thing that's stopping you is because, like, let's be honest, for me and for most people, if it's stopping you, it's either you're embarrassed or you're shy, or it's like, but is it worth it? You don't know until you do it, right? So it's like, worst case scenario, you pay like, let's say 100-something plus books, which doesn't even cost that much to make it in the basic form. Yeah. You pay you spend $200, let's say, most, which is absurd because you're definitely gonna find a place that will make it for cheaper, and then no one else wants it, but you're gonna be happy with it, and it's gonna be a physical thing that you're probably gonna put right here, right? You're gonna put it right here or right there, and every time people come in, they're probably gonna pick it up and be like, "Hey, what is this?" And you're like, "Oh, it's my photo book," and they're like, "Yo, you made a photo book?" You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And that's worst case scenario.
Yeah.
That's worst case scenario. You lose a few $100. You don't make any money, and only a few people will appreciate it. That's the worst.
Yeah, but I still made something that
you still made something that you like. Your name is on it.
Yeah.
You know, and like and who knows? I'm not saying, but who knows? Maybe you start the first one. Nothing happens, right? Like these videos, I don't know where these videos are gonna go, but you start it, and then the next thing you know, it could lead you somewhere where, like, since you could tie it into your other hobbies, like your other things that you do, or like your lifestyle, right? And then next thing you know, it's like, oh, Brandon K has like photo books in stores here and there, select stores, X, Y, and Z, or people in the future may be like, oh man, what did like traditional tea ceremonies look like when it was like in New York? And it's like, oh, I actually know this great photographer named Brandon K, and I checked out one of his books. I bought one of his books, and he has this whole series on just like tea ceremonies in Manhattan.
Oh wow.
Or like just, you know, it's like it could grow somewhere. So like
wow. Okay.
go for it,
Yeah.
because I know for a fact like it's not gonna be crazy amount of money.
Yeah.
And I know that you're gonna be happy with it when you're done.
That's true. Wow.
So
Okay.
just,
Dude.
if you have free time,
Mm-hmm.
just start like first, don't even think of like the big thing. Just start selecting the photos you want, and then start looking at different compositions of photo books. You know, like even this shirt I made because one of our friends was like, we went to a trip to Georgia, and we couldn't get any of the shirts that they were selling at the venue that we went to because they sold out. So we're like, oh man, dude, I want a shirt from that trip just to remember the trip. And my friend on the side was like, Grant, you should make a shirt to commemorate.
Couldn't find a shirt, so we made it. That's a
no,
bar,
but like,
bro.
That's
crazy. Yeah.
and like worst case scenario, my friends aren't gonna wear it.
Yeah.
And I will spend a few $100 and it's gone. Yeah. But now it's like
it's a core
the
memory.
print didn't come out like how I wanted it to, but I'm still happy that it exists.
And you have the experience.
And I have the experience, and every time I look at it, I'll be like, I remember that time.
It's like a true memento.
Yeah, like
more than probably the actual shirt that you would have
facts.
gotten
No,
at the time.
for real. So if you, and I'm down to work with you on helping you make this book if you want. Like, we could go check out photo books.
I would love that.
I could also be like, Brandon, there's this type of paper, there's this type of paper. I could talk to like photography major kids in my school and be like, hey, so if we're looking for photo books, like, do you know any websites? Do you know any blah blah? And I'm sure there's like, you know.
I would love that. I would actually. Wow. Okay. Yeah. All right. We're
doing it.
We're doing it. We're doing it. We're gonna
all right. So Brandon K is gonna come out with a photo book. It's on camera. I don't know when, but when it does, and let's say I don't even know if this will have traction, but let's say I have some sort of presence in social media. You guys should buy it. It's gonna be sick, and I know that you haven't even seen his work yet, but I know that it's gonna be sick. You know?
Yeah. Thank you, bro.
And like, if anything, I'll buy it, or we could trade.
Sure.
Or we could do something. You know?
Dude, that'd be beautiful.
Dude, no.
Thank you, bro.
Dude,
no.
go for it. No, actually.
Whew. Okay. Bet.
I think these like moments, for some reason, I'm like, whenever I hear a friend have an idea and I like the idea, it just makes me like want to push them to do it.
Yeah. I mean, that's your energy. That's exactly what I admire, that you were able to create such initiative for yourself, and it inspired me enough to even bring the idea up to the forefront. And now that we've talked about it, I'm like, yeah, okay.
Dude, we're doing it.
I'm gonna do it.
And then I even know how to bind books, or I know
Really?
from friends how to bind books. You know the traditional like Japanese like way of like the thread and
Sashiko?
Is it what it's called?
It might be different. I mean,
but I know some people who know how to do that too.
Okay.
And like we could decorate the cover, we could decorate the inside, we could we could make a few by hand, like
dude, yeah, I mean, for people actually who people don't, we collabed on something on something before.
Yeah.
We made a set of that. I don't know if you can photo overlay it. And well, actually, I
have photos. Do you have photos?
I have it. I could grab it real quick.
Okay,
yeah. Let me grab it real quick. It's a little wrinkled right now, but Grant and I have collaborated before. I had some extra Japanese linen curtains, and I just had the idea. I was like, I want to make something out of it. I knew you were really good at turning nothing into something.
Thank you.
And we made two different. Well, this is my bag. It's kind of like
it's a crossbody.
Little crossbody. It can't hold a lot of weight, but it can hold a few little things, and it's got different pockets on the side, and we hand stitched them. And Grant was the one that showed me and made it, turn it. He gave me the keys to make it a real thing, and I was really proud of it after I finished it.
Yeah.
And you had your own bag that's like a
drawstring style. I'll probably put the photo of the two of us holding it, or like the post that you have on Instagram.
Yeah.
Like somewhere here, but.
So, I mean, it might be time for V2 to do a little photo book, bro.
Dude, photo book would be dope, for real.
Okay, thank you, bro. Thank you.
Like, for my own benefit, once you get good at this, maybe you could do a photo book of my stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, bro.
You know what I'm
Tap
saying?
in.
But Dude, I think that's a great idea.
Thank you.
Yeah, like, and I already see it. It's just like
Thank
it's
you.
gonna say Brandon K on it, you know, and like you have to think about the cover too, like how you want the cover. But like, boom, right there, you know, it's just like, oh,
You know, I've always dreamed of having something that was just self-titled. It's like you keep saying, like Brandon K. Like I've
Hey,
always like
Brandon K.
imagined the idea of just like having something self-titled and being like just the truest representation of me or of me in a particular time, and it's just my name.
Hey,
So I mean, maybe it will change as I continue to think it out, but I really do like the
like
idea
Brandon
of just
K
like
2020 something.
maybe, yeah, maybe we'll have to, so, something I have to really intentionally will think about now. So thank you.
No, dude, yeah, we're gonna do this.
I'm blessed. I'm blessed for our friendship, man.
No,
for sure.
I'm blessed for our friendship, man. We're gonna do this, man. Okay, but on that note, then, I guess since we've been talking for a while already,
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
been
yeah.
like, I think we've been talking for almost 2 hours.
We could go. We had dinner. We did the two.
Yeah,
we could
yeah,
go all
yeah.
night, bro.
Oh, that, I mean,
We
like
could
just
go
2
all-
hours just recording,
Oh,
like not like
that's
dinner and everything. We've been
crazy.
talking for,
Yo, facts.
but
We're overdue, man.
dude, it's no for real. We'll set a time.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go look at more books. You start picking out what photos you want and what you think,
Okay.
and if you want to add in writing or whatever you want,
Okay.
add in writing, embellishments, whatever you want. Start thinking about that, and wherever I could help you along the way, I'll try my best, man. You know.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, bro. I really appreciate that.
And yeah, this was a great experience for me.
Dude.
I hope it was a good experience
It
for
was
you.
amazing, man. I'm so
And-
grateful. I'm honored to be a part of this, man.
Thank you for your time, Brandon. Truly, thank you for your time. Thank you for the tea. Thank
Of
you
course.
for bringing me into your space. And we're gonna do a round 2 one day
Yes,
of this.
many more.
For sure.
To many more on cam, to many more off cam. It was a pleasure.
Amen, brother. All right. I don't know how to end these, but I'll be like, hey, see you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.